Thank
So
you.
what are you bringing to this discussion?
I left it at my seat. In the Vortex book, you have all these wonderful false premises, 22 of them, I believe. I would love to hear you go through them and give us the true premise. Probably it's not 22 because it all boils down.
Yeah, if you have your book.
Here is the book. Yes, there are 22. Flawed premises. 1, I am either physical or non-physical, either dead or alive.
So the true premise is that you are simultaneously non-physical source energy while a part of that source energy is present in this physical body. And there's continual vibrational relationship between those two aspects. And the emotions that you feel are your indication of how well those two vibrational aspects are playing off one another.
2, my parents, because they were here long before I was born, and because they are my parents, know better than I do what is right or wrong for me.
The true premise is that your parents have put nothing into your vortex, and it is only your relationship with what is in your vortex that represents the success of your life. Therefore, what your parents want for you or even wish for you is really irrelevant to why you have come and what you're about.
3, if I push hard enough against unwanted things, they will go away.
The true premise is that anything you give your attention to becomes bigger. So the harder you push against what you do not want, the more specific, as we've said today, the more specific or the harder you push against it, the more vibration is activated within you about it, and the less likely it is to go away.
Okay, 4, I have come here to live the right way of life and to influence others to the same right way of living.
The true premise is there is not one right way of life. You've come to create that which is perfect for you, as has everyone else. And to assume that there is one right way and then to try to coerce or even entice others to what you've decided is a flawed premise.
5, because I am older than you, I am wiser than you, and therefore you should allow me to guide you.
True premise, wisdom does not come from age, it comes from alignment. And you can be old and in the vortex, or young and in the vortex, but wisdom comes from in the vortex, not age.
6, who I am began the day I was born into my physical body.
True premise, I'm an extension of who I really am, and that who I be has been long before I achieved this personality and this physical persona.
7, with enough effort or hard work, I can accomplish anything. There's someone who said on the AID forum.
That effort outside the vortex does not accomplish. It just puts more in the vortex. But it is effort. Effort is pushing against resistance. And pushing against resistance begets more resistance. So true premise. My success comes when I let go and allow what I have already created. Allow myself to be a vibrational match to what I've already created. It is the releasing of effort that is more likely to bring me to what I want.
Okay, 8, to be in harmony with another, we have to want and believe the same things.
True premise. It is not possible for you to align with what's in someone else's vortex. Your job is to align with what's in your vortex. When you align with what's in your vortex, then you will be more likely to align with another who's in alignment with their vortex. But when you try to align with what someone else wants, often it takes you away from what's in your vortex. So the true premise is alignment with what is in my vortex is my path to accomplishing who I am and what I've come to live.
9, the path to my joy is through my action.
Flawed premise. True premise is the path to my joy is through my vibrational alignment with that which is joyful. In other words, it's not about what I do, it's about how I feel and what I think and how I'm vibrating. You just can't, there are people all over the world who are trying to overcome. Hospitals are filled to the brim with people who are trying to take action to compensate for vibration that's out of whack. Never works. So the true premise is my attention to my alignment is what brings me success in all things.
Flawed premise number 10, I cannot have everything that I desire, so I have to give up some things that are important to me in order to get others.
That's a belief in I give this up, then I'll get that. I have to give up my freedom to have money, or I have to give up my freedom to have a relationship. A lot of people feel that they're compromising, where the true premise is that there is no shortage, and that if I have the ability to desire it, then the universe has the ability to deliver it. But I must be a perfect vibrational match to my desire, which means I have to feel relief and ease and joy and ecstasy when I focus upon it. And when I feel that way, then the manifestation of it must follow. It is law.
11 is flawed premise number 11. If I leave an unwanted situation, I will find what I'm looking for.
Well, the reason that's a flawed premise is you can't get there from there. If you see something unwanted and that's active in your vibration, so you go somewhere else, you take yourself and that active vibration with you, so it prevents you from getting it in the next place, just like your vibration prevented you from getting it in the last place. So the true premise is the universe is always yielding to me an exact representation of where my vibration is. So if I want a different manifestation than what I'm getting, I have to find a different vibration first. That's why we say, feel your way, and then the manifestation will follow.
12. There is a finite container of resources that we are all dipping into with our requests is a false premise.
So again, that's what we were talking about shortage consciousness. The flawed premise is there's only so much. We like to liken this to the economic pie, because people say there's only this much economic, and if that person gets a big slice, then the rest of us have to divide up what's left. And what we want you to realize is that with all of that, you are putting forth this rocket of desire that's creating this larger and larger vibrational pie. So the flawed premise that there isn't enough of something is because you are dividing up what's already manifested. The true premise is there is no end to the abundance that is flowing. There is no end to it. And once you sync vibrationally with the idea, the manifestation must follow. That's what all creation is. It's what all evolution is. It's what all manifestational expansion is.
Flawed premise 13. There are right ways and wrong ways to live.
Everyone gets to choose. The true premise is that no two are living exactly the same way, and all are living right as far as source is concerned. But you have to remember that true premise, source, always stands inside the vortex, looking at what you have vibrationally created, never giving attention to where you stand that caused you to create it. So when you sync up, true premise, when you sync up with the way source sees your life, your expression of it, your opinion of it will be as rewarding and exhilarating as the opinion that source has about your life. 14. Flawed premise. There is a God who, having considered all things, has come to a final and correct conclusion about everything. True premise. Because of the work that you are doing here, that which man calls God is joyously expanding.
15. Flawed premise. You cannot know, while you are still in your physical body, the true reward or punishment for your physical actions.
True premise. Because the evolution and expansion of that which you are vibrationally is so extraordinary, only in your absolute absence of resistance will you be able to behold it fully. And that will be once you reemerge into non-physical. That's when you'll feel your real awareness of the beauty and magnificence and contribution of that which is you. You can come close in your physical body, but it is only in non-physical that there is enough absence of resistance for you to really know who you are.
16. Flawed premise. By gathering data about the manifestations or results of the way people on earth have lived or are living, we can effectively sort them into absolute piles of right and wrong.
True premise. Everyone is sifting through the data and knowing what they don't want and knowing what they do want. The value in all of that exercise is all contained inside the vortex. Sifting through the piles of manifestation only gives you evidence of where people have held their attention. Sifting through the piles in the vortex brings you to the culmination of all things wanted.
17. Flawed premise. Only very special people, like the founder of our group, can receive the right message from God.
Everyone is an extension of source energy, and everyone has equal access to the energy of that which is source. You just have to find the vibrational frequency, and it is yours.
Flawed premise 18. By ferreting out the undesirable elements in our society, we can eliminate them.
You cannot push against anything and eliminate it. The more you push against what you do not want, the more of that which you do not want occurs. True premise. Get what you think about, whether you want it or not.
Flawed premise 19. A good relationship is one in which the dominant intention of each person involved is to find agreement and harmony with the other.
True premise. The best relationships are those where the people involved have a dominant intention of syncing up with their individual vortex and their inner being. When two people who are in alignment with who they are come together, they will have a magnificent relationship. And the reason the other is a flawed premise is because when you try to please another, when you try to mold your desires to match what another wants, and in the process you sacrifice your alignment with what's in your vortex, then you come to resent them. So while you may get away with it for a while, in time you resent the freedom that you are giving up. True premise. Align with your vortex and live happily ever after. And anyone who has the benefit of being near someone who's in the vortex can attest to the power of that.
Flawed premise 20. When I focus upon things of a physical nature, I am less spiritual.
Well, people often have the flawed premise that there is manifestation or physical, and then there is spirit or that which is source, as if they are different, when true premise is that everything that is physical is an extension of that which is source. So the most spiritual, godlike, aligned, leading edge expression of that which is God is right here, physically manifested all around you. Source is the God in everything, knows it only, never focuses on the absence or lack. That's why we say it is only when you really reemerge back into physical that you will really be able to feel it in its perfection. Well, there's contrast everywhere, even in non-physical, but as long as you are physically focused, your propensity to resistance is just simply put far greater than when you are non-physically focused. In other words, the frequency of source in every vibration there is wanted and not wanted, but the preciseness of the frequency of the non-physical is so extreme that you cannot even discern it from your physical format. In other words, your physical instrument is not tuned there. Even with our meditation CD, we cannot tune you to the precise frequency of source. But you get